What happens when the owner of a thriving department store chain decides to go undercover and visit his own shop? What does he see through the eyes of a regular customer? What surprising truths does he uncover? Daniel begins each morning the same way he has for years, with a stack of sales reports and a cup of strong coffee in his corporate office. Every store's numbers are listed on neat spreadsheets, tracking everything from daily foot traffic to average transaction values. On paper, Whitmore's department stores look steady, no major dips in revenue, and customer satisfaction scores haven't plummeted. Yet, whenever Daniel makes his routine visits in a crisp suit and polished shoes, he notices something intangible. Employees seem distant, their smiles not quite reaching their eyes. Customers wander the aisles but rarely strike up conversations with staff. An unsettling quiet has replaced the friendly buzz that once defined Whitmore's. Daniel can't quite put his finger on the problem. At company meetings, his managers insist everything's fine. Their formal reports show business as usual, but Daniel's gut tells him otherwise. Rumors of staff burnout filter up through the grapevine. Loyal customers, people who used to come in weekly, have disappeared. It's as if the heart of his store is slowly fading, and no pie chart or bar graph can reveal why. The more Daniel thinks about it, the more restless he becomes. After all, this was supposed to be more than just a chain of stores. It was meant to be a community hub, a place where both employees and customers felt valued. Determined to find the missing piece of the puzzle, he decides it's time to step away from the spreadsheets and see the truth for himself, hidden in plain sight among the racks and checkout lines. One late evening, surrounded by spreadsheets and unspoken worries, Daniel realizes that simply reading reports and sending out surveys isn't enough. If he wants to unearth what's really happening, he needs to experience his store firsthand without the filter of his CEO title. And that's when the idea strikes: he'll go undercover as a regular customer. The next morning, Daniel trades his tailored suit for a simple polo shirt and jeans. A worn baseball cap and a pair of reading glasses complete the disguise. He deliberately chooses one of his flagship stores, one he hasn't visited in person for months. Walking through the sliding glass doors, Daniel can't help but feel both a rush of excitement and a twinge of dread. No corporate entourage, no name tag that reads CEO. Just another shopper navigating clothing racks and home goods, hoping to see his store in its most honest form. With no one recognizing him, Daniel roams the aisles, picking up items at random and observing everything around him. Right away, he notices things he never saw in the neat confines of his reports. A flickering light in the corner, a faintly musty smell in the fitting rooms, and a hush among employees who seem preoccupied, even guarded. It's clear that something is amiss, and Daniel wonders if his disguise will be enough to discover the heart of the problem. Little does he know, the biggest revelation is waiting for him at the checkout line, where one cashier's words will turn his world upside down. Daniel eventually makes his way to the checkout line with a few inexpensive items in his basket, just enough to blend in as an everyday customer. A middle-aged woman stands in front of him, looking worried as she shuffles through her purse for spare change. The cashier, a young woman with a polite but tired smile, scans the lady's items and announces the total. The customer's face falls. She doesn't have enough to pay. What happens next makes Daniel's heart skip a beat. The cashier discreetly glances around, then slips a few dollars from her own pocket into the register to cover the shortfall. Leaning in close, she whispers, "It's okay, Miss Parker. I know things have been hard since your husband lost his job. We'll figure this out. The boss never has to know." Daniel stands frozen, groceries in hand, stunned at the kindness unfolding before him and the unintentional jab at his own perceived indifference. He realizes at once that this cashier is not only carrying the weight of underappreciated generosity, but also believes her employer wouldn't support her compassionate gesture. In that single moment, Daniel sees exactly why the store's spirit has changed. The staff feel isolated and unheard, left to shoulder human struggles that corporate policies can't or won't address. And for the first time, Daniel wonders if he's forgotten the real heartbeat behind his business. That evening, Daniel returns to his office, still reeling from what he witnessed. He realizes that no spreadsheet could ever capture the quiet acts of kindness taking place in his stores, or the fear his employees might have of stepping out of line to help someone in need. Moved and humbled, he devises a plan. The next morning, Daniel calls an all-hands meeting at the store, revealing his true identity to the shocked staff. His voice trembles with emotion as he thanks the cashier, whose name he learns is April, for her compassion. He reassures her and everyone else that such generosity is not only acceptable but encouraged. "You've shown me what really matters," Daniel says, locking eyes with April. "It's not just about the products we sell, it's about the people we serve. From now on, that will be our guiding principle." In the days that follow, Daniel implements a series of changes across Whitmore's department stores. He introduces a hardship fund to support customers and employees through tough times. He opens up a new dialogue with his staff weekly forums where they can share concerns or ideas without fear of judgment. Training sessions emphasize empathy as much as sales techniques. Word spreads quickly among both employees and customers. The aisles fill with the buzz of renewed energy. Staff greet shoppers by name, share smiles that reach their eyes, and feel confident that, for the first time in a long while, the company truly cares about them. And as for Daniel, he no longer relies solely on neat columns of numbers to understand his business. Instead, he steps out onto the sales floor to listen and learn. Because in that quiet moment at the checkout counter, he discovered the truth. A business isn't defined by profits alone, but by how it nurtures the human spirit inside its doors.